Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to DXB Crypto, and this is going to be a video you don't want to miss because this is the Crypto Awards 2025 and a ranking as well. So smash the like. It is the end of the year. We are going to have fun with this. So let's go. Let's roll these drums, please. In 3, 2, 1. All right, enough for that. Enough said. There's a bit of suspense, guys, in the best possible way to do this. But let's have a look at the data. So in this video, what I'm about to do is not easy, okay? I've gone through a substantial amount of data. And what I'm looking for the winners is really what's going on in the last 12 months and the percentage gains. It doesn't mean that there's high conviction, low conviction. It doesn't matter. What the main aim is, look at narratives that have run, that have been very, very successful in the last 12 months. Of course, in addition to that, we are going to rank based on the different criteria, okay? So we're going to do a ranking amongst this. But it is interesting, regardless of where the market has been, if you've taken data from December last year, right, to December this year, what you would notice is that meme coins have run. The privacy narrative is the hottest in terms of all utility. And then obviously you've got DeFi. Now, those have been the three biggest narratives that I can think of in 2025. 2025 has been the worst year in terms of across the board. Of course, memes will always pop off, but the privacy, so Zcash, Monero, Dash, they've all absolutely run after 10 years of, almost being dormant. So if somebody comes up to you and says to you that, oh yeah, we've got this crazy amount of conviction in these narratives, I'm sorry, absolutely nobody saw the dormant old privacy coins running. And if they do, it's okay, because you have gaming, you have memes, you have DeFi, you have AI, which has hardly absolutely moved at all. But if we look at some of these cryptocurrencies in particular, if we just look at the fundamental ones, what you would notice is that we have had DeFi comes up quite often, privacy. But if you look at outside of DeFi and privacy, then you've obviously got payments. So Bitcoin Cash, Dash, and again, Dash is privacy, Alchemist, AI, which is AI. So it's not really consistent. But one thing that is consistent for sure is that traditional layer ones have been absolutely shit. Okay? Layer ones, in their traditional sense, have been absolutely abysmal. Sui, Solana, Near, Hedera, Aptos, Internet Computer, Tau. These are all layer ones. Now, this is my prediction for 2026. I think these will absolutely rocket because you don't see a level of layer one run in the entire narrative, entire cycle, whatever you want to call it. I think 2026, even if you believe we're in a bear market, this video, it should be really helpful to you because honestly, I've not seen anything to suggest that the crypto bull market is completely over. But what we can see is when we have had layer ones, we've had infrastructure here with Tron, we've had PEPE L1s like Hyperliquid, right? Layer 2 Merlin chain, that's the only Bitcoin L2 that's worth considering. So let's do this. Let's have a little bit of fun. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a ranking, right, based on the fact that you've got all of these cryptocurrencies, the likes of AB, Zcash, Monero, Pax. Gold's been running all year round, okay? But we buy a lot of shit coins, right? So what's our shit coins going to do? And what do I think is essential for these shitcoins to do really well. And I don't call all of them shitcoins. I call most of these, very good level, what I consider to be high level layer ones and layer twos and whatever you want to call them. Let's have a look at this, because this is going to be super key. And in my opinion, if we run this, we will see if a particular cryptocurrency that you hold has any given narrative any day soon. Okay, let's go change this thing. Let me just go get rid of this. Perfect. Here we go. So this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Crypto Awards 2025 going into 2026. What do I think is quite key when it comes to these plays moving forward? Is it the hype? Is it the utility? Is it the price? Is it the team? Is it the exchanges? Right? It's got to be something. So the first one I'm going to assess here is a gaming coin. And this is more, it should really be utility / narrative, right? Because regardless of utility, if your narrative comes and you're in season, you tend to do pretty well. Now, of course, this one for me will have to have its own narrative. Therefore, narrative coins, i.e. gaming season here, they take longer to run. Another category that this one could be in is the current price action that has been absolutely diabolical. So what we want to do with these is to say the price action that we've had so far has been poor. Therefore, it does overall impact the utility of, the hype of the coin. You see where I'm going with this? So because obviously it's not in season and it's not, the price hasn't performed well and it has to be waited for a narrative. You've got to really wait for gaming to come. Then it takes longer for you to be bullish. But I do believe if gaming comes, this will absolutely run, in my opinion. And it's, again, it's not a high conviction play. But the next one is. The next one goes into multiple different places, right? So it has hype. It has exchanges. It has a solid team. This is saved, by the way. It has a solid, very, very solid team. Now, the price obviously has been, of course, lacking a bit here, right? And it also has utility and a layer one narrative. So in my opinion, this one is definitely got what it needs to super do really well, which is number one, hype, right? Hype before utility. Utility comes, but if you have hype and utility, you tend to do really well. Of course, the price performance at the moment is quite negative. So you could, obviously say that the price has not been great. Facts. However, it's not as negative as, say, a micro cap, which has been absolutely being battered like insane. So I would say that is got to be one you need to kind of watch out and stack. The king of the cycle so far has been Zcash. Now, Zcash is extreme utility, right? It's very niche. And one of the things that I would say is utility and narrative have collided very well. The price action has been incredibly strong, as opposed to the other ones, which are kind of, the price could either give you attention for positive or negative reasons, right? In the case of, for example, something like Prime, it's been a negative price action. However, the price has been pretty low. So hype comes as the price goes up, but sometimes the price performance itself brings the hype. So in my opinion, this is across the board. This is one of the best cryptocurrencies. The only thing I would say is you've got to be really careful, right? I don't know too much about the team, but it is a proof of work. And when I went into the mining event the other day, it had, it checked across all of these different parameters, in my opinion. So I think, you know, again, don't know about the team, so I'm not going to rank the team. In fact, I'll just put a question mark there. But who cares about the team, right? The only thing you need to be careful is for Zcash to continue to do well, privacy has to be kind of, you know, not in the news in a negative way. Next one is Kaspa. Kaspa needs hype, in my opinion. Hype that will come from an exchange, right? So Kaspa right now does not have the one thing that it needs, which is a tier 1 exchange. Apart from that, in terms of utility, in terms of, I think, you know, when the big guys come in terms of a team, I would probably say the team could also be better. Same as, I mean, I think these guys got pretty good team, for example, in Say, because they just pump hard, you know, they're just on the Xiaomi. But just to illustrate, there was an exchange the other day between Jonathan and some of the community members. The team has to be absolutely more than Jonathan. I think Jonathan is the top dog, but we want to see people shilling this. We want to see crazy marketing team. And if that happens, I think in terms of the current Kaspa price psychologically being low, I think that is a tremendous advantage for Kaspa, because outside of everything, I kind of see what's going on with the likes of Zcash here. Remember, Kaspa is mineable, and it is a pure form in terms of the utility, in terms of the tech. It gets a massive score here. So there are those in the Kaspa community that tell me, oh, DXB exchanges are not, you know, they're not that important. Yes, they are. Get your head out of your ass. You cannot organically grow forever. You notice the top performing cryptocurrencies are all either in Coinbase, Binance, or both. We need a big exchange listing. Do not chat shit to yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, because I'm telling you now, we get a massive tier 1 exchange. Kaspa absolutely go ballistic. Okay. Next one is Sui. Now, Sui and its ecosystem will fly. I'm in no doubt about it. But let me just tell you something. Sui's 2025 started very well. 2024 ended incredibly strong. Sui has the utility, narrative, mass adoption. So we are going to be giving Sui that. Sui also does, it's one of the only few Move programming language cryptocurrencies, and it comes with plenty of hype. Okay. So hype, whereas some tokens don't have the hype, this has, you know, this moves up few percent, and every man and his dog will be talking about Sui blockchain, Sui exchange, Sui listing, Sui this, Sui that, Bluefin. And I genuinely believe when you see the hype in the ecosystem, because the ecosystem gives a utility, they have the Memecoin hype with the likes of Lofi. They have Bluefin in terms of specific and narrative related, like the Dex narrative will do very well. They also have the utility of things like Walrus, if there's a deepin as a layer 1. So here's where Sui becomes a checklist for the ages. They have the exchanges, right? And they have the team. Miston Labs is ridiculously good. You know, we can't complain about Miston. They're always on the news. They're always trending. They're always talking. You know, what are you going to say about that? You know, they are absolutely stacked. Of course, it's different in terms of other projects, but I think their team is an example of how to, you know, their founder is incredible. Their co-founder is incredible. They are a good team. Where they absolutely lack the hype right now, remember I said price could be negative or positive in terms of sentiment. So if the price is negative, then people think that the ecosystem is dead. And that's currently what we've seen so far. I could give them a tick there because that's a great price to actually buy the ecosystem, not the layer 1, because we bought the layer 1 with an average of 74 cents. So it doesn't make sense to buy it for 170. For some people, it could be cheap if you've got tons and tons if you've got millions to deploy, okay? But the negative perception of the price doesn't allow people to say, hey, look, Walrus is cheap, Bluefin is cheap, Cetus is cheap, and therefore I'm going to print more Subi later. Does that make sense? So that for me is a massive positive for Sui network, in my opinion. Monad, hype check, right? Hype check, because Monad is one of those cryptocurrencies that has just come out. Naturally, it has hype, okay? Where some cryptocurrencies lack hype, this one has plenty of hype because it's brand new. It's also, in terms of exchanges, I would probably say it's not on Binance just yet, okay? And that doesn't mean that it's bad. I think it's a good thing. It is on the futures DEX, but, PERPs, but soon it will get onto Binance's main exchange. So I think Monad is going to be absolutely doing crazy things, okay? I'll tell you what I will do in terms of to categorize these. I will just go put them into the checklist for where they need to be. That way you can see it better. Okay. The essence is, for me, it makes a massive difference for if you're looking at something like Monad. Monad's team is well known. I'd give them a tick for that. And of course, currently the Monad price is pretty low. And again, you know, it's a utility coin yet to be tested. So we need more proof as to when and where that takes place. One next project is Bittensor Tau. Now, as far as utility is concerned, none better than Bittensor. Just like Kaspa, I think Bittensor Tau is a giant in the making, of course. And Tau goes into this idea where it really, what it lacks is hype beyond institutions and clever people, right? So what Tau needs is plenty of marketing. So far, it is the Mr. Labs. Sorry, not Mr. Labs. It's Grayscale. They've had a huge announcement the other day. Tau scores incredibly well on exchanges at the moment. You can buy Tau on Binance, of course, which is super brilliant. And the team at Bittensor Tau, it's completely decentralized, so I don't know who they are. The price has been one of the best in terms of cryptocurrency, in my opinion. Like, the price has been really strong. In fact, people think that $300 Tau is expensive. Wait till it goes to $3,000, $30,000 and beyond. Okay. Peak has no hype. Peak has no current mass hype at the moment. So I would say probably it needs hype. It is on exchanges, and at the moment it's not on very good exchanges in terms of like good tier 1 exchanges. The team, I don't know them that much, and the price has been awful, although it had some strength. But I think what I'm concerned about here is the ability for this to survive 2026 inflation should the market continue to dip. Because when they designed their tokenomics, the way they did it was exactly like the bull market was going to end. So in 2026, so yeah, I think that's going to be something I need to watch. Again, I do like the project, but I've got to be honest with you. It needs a lot of hype, a lot of utility to back into the things. It doesn't have great exchanges, but it has enough to grow right now. AO, I would say probably AO's main play is a utility play. And you can't talk about AO without talking about Arweave. Both of these bad boys are heavily reliant on narrative and utility rather than hype. If they had hype, if they had exchanges, of course, Arweave does, then they would do very well. But I'd expect a lot of the deep in projects to be like that, to be fair, because they will have to wait for the season to come. Here's one that has all of the good things combined. I think Zebec is, and you know, again, when I look at the data, you know, Zebec has absolutely what it takes to be listed in big exchanges. It has, I can tell you right now, an amazing team. They are a US-based cryptocurrency, and they're doing partnerships. They're doing DeepIn. They're doing payrolls in RWA. I'm happy with those guys. Actually, I think that's going to be one to watch for exchanges. Of course, utility and narrative, and amongst other things. Next one is Kita. Now, Kita did have a hype. Okay, does have utility. Does have actually exchanges, of course. But I would say I would put Kita more in terms of the base season, right? So Kita would go into my utility narrative type of cryptocurrency. Of course, we talked about this guy. This guy does nothing without SUI. But of course, here it's on Binance Exchange. I think that's positive. Okay. These guys here, I would probably say the team is amazing. I love talking to the team and everything else. However, in terms of all the others, I think this is going to be a bit like super risky L1, and at any given moment, I think something could happen there. So I've got to be very careful with Alf in terms of where things go, because obviously it's a micro cap. I'd probably say Alf, AI Tech. These are the cryptocurrencies. I mean, this one, the good thing about AI Tech is super viral when the market is better. Yeah, it's incredibly viral. They produce tons of adverts and hype and everything else. So I think that would be one to put on the hype train, and Alephium on the exchange train, because they don't have any exchanges. Very small. Great team. They score on that point. Price is also incredibly negative and has been for a very long time. I mean, this is the unfortunate situation, but it has been sold for a very long time. Zora. Now, Zora has an amazing team. It has utility, but where it really stands out is the team, the base connection, the hype. Zora is a top quality cryptocurrency on base. Make no mistake about it. I think Zora does very well. In the case, for example, of Arweave does need hype. Arweave does need marketing, but Sam doesn't push it that way. What do we have here? AGI Delicium. The biggest problem that they have is the team. So I'd give them an X for the team. Okay. I'll run now. Gonzilla Games. I think Gonzilla has a very good team. The only problem is for them, the price action has been incredibly negative. And also they go into narrative. So this is a cryptocurrency that you've got to wait for gaming season to arrive. So they probably go with this in terms of just heavily, utility or narrative driven. When gaming season comes, I think they will do very well. Next one I have is AB. AB is the best performing asset over the last 12 months in terms of real gains. It's a big DeFi project on Binance, but it doesn't really, in terms of the team is decent. However, I don't think it will ever get the hype that it needs for this to do really well. Okay. Next one is Beam. Now, Beam, the price, negative or positive? I think Beam here is an excellent price. $3,000 for a million Beam. That is an excellent price to dollar cost averaged into Beam, because Beam will get the hype. It will get the seasonal utility for it to run. So eventually when when gaming season comes, along with these guys, I think it will run incredibly well. Next one is Ondo. Now, Ondo is it's a very, very kind of a different cryptocurrency in terms of how it's marketed. So it does have hype. It does always have hype. It does have exchanges. It has a decent team, right? You could put the Undo team here because I follow them on LinkedIn. They are absolutely outstanding. And the price is, you know, the market cap has been quite big. However, obviously they did all of the release, or a lot of the release in January 2025. That scared a lot of people, but since the market has tanked, and of course it is also RWA narrative, it's also layer one. So I think this one can sit across many of these in terms of overall quality. I think it's a quality project. And then of course Axelar is purely utility play. And for that, it doesn't really have hype. It does have exchanges. It does have an excellent team. I guess, you know, the real problem here has been for them, the price action of Axelar has been pretty poor. Next one is Aerodrome Finance. Now, Aerodrome is on every exchange. It has an excellent team and it's very close to Base. And it will be, even if Base gets a token, I think it will do very well. So far, the price action obviously has been negative, but it will absolutely counter for that. And after that is Asta. Well, Asta, to be honest, you know, Asta will get some hype. However, exchange is important. It's a decentralized DEX play there. So, yeah, I think it would do very well. It'd be great if Asta, obviously, you know, for people that are in that narrative. For me, I'm going to go with Bluefin. But it would be great to see how Asta develops in the next year or so. I think it will do very well. Now, Heroes of Mavia is purely hype driven and, you know, price driven. The price has been negative. The hype has not been there. But where it will do very well is the narrative section. So when gaming comes along, I expect that thing to pull at least 100x. And then you've got Pump.Fun, narrative. Pump.Fun, I mean, of course, yeah, with Memecoins, but it does have very good utility as well. I think it's all right. I mean, it's not something I would break my neck to go and buy. And yeah, based on that, I think this is the complete list that I wanted to share with you today. The takeaway here is when you look at your cryptocurrencies in terms of the overall hype, you know, ask yourself, does it have hype? Does it have utility? And if so, which one is more important? Is the hype more important? Is the utility more important? Is the team good enough to deliver a very good hype? And of course, very good exchanges. So there you have it. I'm really optimistic in terms of the crypto awards for 2025. They go to what's been ripping already, right? OKB, MYX Finance, Zebec, Xpin, Asta, Tutorial, Zcash, Giggle Fund, BUILDon. These have delivered crazy gains. Maple Finance up 60% over the year. You know, Monero, Oxycoin. But the point is, what we learned so far in this video is that you are here honestly knowing that the majority of these narratives do rotate. And of course, if gaming hasn't had a run for 4 years, what do you think the chances of gaming doing the Zcash, for example? I'm not saying put all your money into gaming, but that's how crypto works. It's been fun. Have a lovely day. And let me know what you think in the comments. And I'll catch you on the next video. Smash a like as well.